These bakes look too good to eat. Well, almost. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 best Great British Bake Off treats. Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, please subscribe for more great content. For this list, we'll be choosing the best looking and, we assume, best tasting bakes from Britain's favourite baking competition. Number 10, Beca's Cheesecake. For this quarter-final bake, Series 4 contestant Beca put a literal spin on a classic cake name. It sounds like a bad dad pun, but the cheesecake turned out to be one of her most creative bakes thanks to an impressive eye for detail.
I've got an image of what this cake looks like in my head and I'm just trying to replicate it.
Made during Vegetable Cake Week, the cake was based on an unusual combination of butternut squash and pecan, with models of mice, a cheese wedge, and a chopping board crafted by Beca's impressive icing skills. Mary described it as wonderful and such fun, and we definitely agree. Number 9, John's Gingerbread Coliseum. For Biscuit Week, Mary and Paul challenged the bakers of Series 3 to wow them with gingerbread constructions.
This looks very complicated.
Over 100 pieces.
Not content with your standard house, John set his sights on a much more ambitious structure, the Roman Coliseum. Using black treacle as the glue and peanut praline as the base, he carefully baked and stuck together 100 biscuit pieces for a design courtesy of his boyfriend, a graphic designer. Although Mary commented that it wasn't gingery enough, it wasn't even baked, and much to John's relief, the grand design didn't crumble.
That's pretty good, to be honest.
Oh, don't break the sacking of Rome!
Number 8, Lewis's Chocolate Windmill. Though the queen of consistency Nancy eventually won Series 5, it was Lewis's bake that had our eyes popping and mouths watering the most.
This is going to be interesting. It's all about timing.
Yes, it
5
is.
hours. Have you done this before completely?
Well, the last time I did it in 2 days, so...
2 days?
For their final showstopper, Mary and Paul tasked Nancy, Lewis and Richard to create pièce-montée centerpieces intended for a French-style banquet. The bakes had to be inspired by something personal, and for Lewis that meant his home village of Poynton. While it's a shame he didn't take Mel's suggestion of Manchester's Hacienda nightclub, the most impressive detail in Lewis's bake was the profiterole chain going up and over the colliery.
I like the wheel. I love the way you've done the chain with the profiteroles. Very clever. That is gorgeous and really is a piece of art.
Number 7, Victoria's Blackbird Pie Cake. Victoria was the first star baker of Series 3 thanks to this creative piece of cookery.
And the head all looks a bit revolting, so like a Doctor Who set, but in there lies a nursery rhyme.
It's often hard to put a twist on an old classic, but an item of food disguised as another is always a surprise. Taking inspiration from the English nursery rhyme Sing a Song of Sixpence, Victoria turned an average sponge into a fantasy bake fit for any kid's party. The outside was more impressive than the inside, but the unique concept was well executed, and the cake was completely unrecognisable as a blackbird pie. As debuts go, this was memorable.
It tells the story. Anybody could guess what it is, couldn't you?
Number 6, France's Rainbow Picnic Pie. Graphic designer Frances was one of the most creative bakers the show has ever seen, and this picnic hamper pie, whipped up for the Series 4 finale, was the cherry atop her success.
I think it's going to need wafting. Waft to waft.
Throughout the 4th series, most tipped baking ninja Ruby to snatch the title. But Frances, who was often criticised for being style over substance, pipped it to the post with stunning and flavour-filled bakes like this one. The basket-shaped pie was filled with 2 types of trout and 5 types of summer vegetables, and though Ruby's design was nicely done, Frances couldn't be beaten.
Oh my lord, that's amazing.
Very, very neat layers.
Number 5, Brendan's Petit for Cygnets. Precision master Brendan barely put a flowery foot wrong in Series 3, and perfect early bakes like this one had him marked as a quick favourite to win. For the Petit 4 challenge during Patisserie Week, he crafted these delicate swans from choux pastry, decorated with lime curd and raspberries.
And I just thought to give it some kick, I would put in some freshly made lime curd.
Petit 4 are supposed to be miniature bakes, and Paul praised Brendan for coming the closest to the treat's ideal size. And each cygnet was practically identical in shape, true to Brendan's trademark almost freakish sense of accuracy.
Good consistent size. They look very pretty.
Number 4, James's Rose Raspberry and Macaron Tart. James's ambitious designs didn't always work out the way he'd hoped, but his beautiful tart from the 3rd episode of Series 3 looked even better than he ever could have expected. As well as rose and raspberries, he used lychees for extra flavour and decoration, a combination that seemed to go down very well with Mary, who welcomed something new. James's presentation was so neat, it probably even made Brendan jealous. As tarts go, this looked quite conservative, but sometimes a well-executed classic is the best bet.
I have never had a rose-flavoured tart before.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done, James.
Number 3, France's Vegetable Patch Canapés. Canapés were on the menu for the French-themed 4th Series semi-final, and Francis excelled once again. For a twist on the signature bake, Francis took inspiration from the humble British allotment.
I want to put the style on the substance, Paul, this time.
With nimble fingers, she fashioned choux pastry into tiny tomatoes and Chantenay carrots, and disguised cream cheese scones as cauliflower, and the result looked like something you'd find in the back garden of a doll's house. To complete the illusion, she planted it all in a bed of artificial grass. Amazingly though, it still wasn't enough to win a Star Baker.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Number 2, Nadiya's Fizzy Pop Cheesecake. Nadiya's brilliant facial expressions weren't the only thing that made her stand out in Series 6. Her consistently fun and fresh ideas like this fizzy drink-inspired cheesecake made her a shoo-in for the title.
Clever. Very, very clever.
What made you think of this idea?
An anti-gravity cake, Nadiya's clever design was flavoured with not just one type of pop, but 3: lemonade, ginger beer, and cream soda. The optical illusion spilled over 3 stacked cheesecakes. Nadiya was criticised throughout the series for her lack of technical skill, but Mary and Paul labelled this concept ingenious.
It's great fun.
Well done.
Great fun, the flavour.
The base on the bottom tier is nice and thin, and a lovely ginger flavour coming through.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honourable mentions.
You've got a very good batch, all matching. And you rather like that, don't you? That is a masterpiece. Has that little bear got a name?
It could be Paul.
Well, it's got a nice smile.
It was meant to have slightly brighter blue eyes.
You ticked the boxes when we said a celebration bread.
I thought, seeing that dark outside, that it was going to be a little bit hard and dry, and it's not.
It's a good bake, it's got a great texture and a good flavour. I think you've done really well.
Thank
well
you.
done.
Number 1, Paul's King of the Jungle bread. Of all the crusty and creamy creations served in the bake-off tent, Paul's King of the Jungle bread reigns supreme.
You say you're going to do a line, it's got to look like a line and not like a dog or something like that.
Baked in Series 6, this lion is made entirely of bread, from mane to paw. Details like the almond claws only add to its astonishing realism, and it's one of the most delicious looking dishes the show has ever given us. Resident Bread King Paul Hollywood was amazed. Incredibly and controversially, Paul didn't win Star Baker that week, but he did receive the first ever bake-off commendation and the much sought after Hollywood handshake.
The detail that you've done, the almonds in the claws.
Chunk off this. That is packed with flavour.
Very, very good indeed.
I'm pleased.
Thank you.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK and subscribe for more great content.